Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Hi,
How's
everyone.
everybody doing? Okay, Anne's going to talk for just a sec while I pop over.
She's
And
going to, put us on Instagram if it works. It
yep,
hasn't worked, but
if
we're
it,
trying.
we are trying. So we'll see because I think I need to do a little bit more research on it. But, hey.
Nothing is easy.
Well, and then once you get it figured out, they change it. And then you got to go all over again. It makes me
Well, I
crazy.
said nothing is easy.
Mm-mm-mm. Nope. So, okay, well,
Except our project today is easy.
it is easy. Yes, it's easy to do.
Hey, Gina.
Time consuming. Yes, it does take some time, but that's all right. Hi, Gina. So, anyways, how's everybody doing today? Hi, Dorothy.
Yes, you're catching us live. Hey,
Yay!
Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. So, um, yeah, we're working with AdTech today. AdTech is our sponsor today. And I gotta say, you know that I am not a fan of tape runners. I'm just not.
Nope,
But
she isn't.
I use the tape runner that they have, and oh my gosh. Because usually what happens is I don't know if I'm too rough with them or what, whatever, but they rip and they, tear up and you got to throw them away. Man, I was on those last night and this weekend just tape stripping away, no issues at all. So I was, and it's sticky. It's like way sticky.
Oh, they're really, well, it depends. They have so many.
Yeah, well, the
They
one
have
I was
lots.
using is the permanent. Yeah, and we'll talk about that. But it's sticky because I laid something down and then decided, oh shoot, I didn't like it like that, and I couldn't move it because it was just. So I'm like, okay, this is some really really good adhesive, people.
Hey, Isabel. I
Hi,
think you're
Isabel.
doing good.
Yes, and we're using the glue gun. Well, I'm using Aunt's using the glue gun too. This glue gun is so cool.
I'm
Oh, it
using a
is.
different one than her, and you'll find out why when I do my project. But I
Yep.
love the one she's using. It is my favorite.
Yeah. The big one. Oh
Well,
yeah.
with the light.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It has a light.
It
It's
has
so
a
cool.
light. Oh, and you don't really feel like, hi Becca. You don't really feel like you need it until
Until
you
you
use
do.
it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
It is.
I can actually see what I'm gluing down now.
It is
Ay,
amazing.
ay, ay. So that's what we're doing today, you guys. I'm going to show you a really cute, you can use it as a wall hanging if you put a hanger on it, or you can just use it with a um, frame, not a frame, an easel,
Mm.
and set it on a table like that. It's very happy. It's very springy. And I
We
just love
like
it.
spring.
I do. It's my
I'm
favorite
waiting for
time.
spring.
It's my favorite time of the year. It really is. I love spring.
I love fall too.
Yeah.
I do. Because I like layers. I like to wear
Oh,
layers.
yes, you do. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. For me, I like Halloween.
that's the only part of fall she likes.
Exactly. Yes. That and going to the beach. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I guess we should just go ahead and get started. You know what? Do you have anything that you want to share before we do this?
No, no,
Nope.
it's fine.
Okay.
I think we should just do our projects. And
All right. All right. This is what we're doing then, guys. So I'm going to switch my camera here and we will get started. All right. There we go.
okay, I'm gonna pop out because we want to see all of her projects. It
Excuse
is
me.
so dang cute.
Okay. So this is what we are making today, you guys. So much fun. I'm going to see. I'm going to bring it down. Nope. That's what I want. Oh, okay. So you can see it just a tad bit better. It is just so cute and just so much fun. And to me, it's just happy. It's just happy. So this is what I'm going to show you how to do. It is super easy. It's a little time consuming only because you have to, glue down a lot of stuff and all of that, but very simple to do. So what I'm
It's
going
like
to,
a piece of art.
like a piece of art.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hang on a second because I need to check on my bigger glue gun. I might have killed it last night. All
Yeah,
right.
the charge only lasts so long.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah. So, all right. So let me move this out of the way. And then we'll get started. And I hope I'm going to get to be able to use this big one. Okay, so let me show you this cool glue gun, guys. This is from AdTech, and I so hope that I can use it. Because I charged it, but apparently maybe not long enough. So I'm going to let it sit for a bit. But what is so special about this one is it has, let me take this out. It has a light right here. So when you squeeze it and you're using it, the light comes on. And it is so cool. And I am a gadget girl, I admit it. It's also cordless. Okay, I have it plugged in right now because I'm trying to get it charged. But yeah, it's also cordless, so you don't have to mess with cords while you're using it. And then also what I'm going to use of theirs today is the mini one. This is their mini glue gun, and this is also chargeable. So no cords or anything while you're working, which I love. And then, of course, the tape adhesives that I was talking about earlier. This stuff is really, really cool. I like it. I was surprised. And I always got to give my honest opinion about things.
I'm surprised too because you do not like tape runners.
I do not, because I have this love-hate relationship with them, and it makes me crazy.
Well, good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it is awesome. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the regular canvas. You guys have seen me do this before. It's like one of my favorite things to do when I'm crafting, because I love anything that, I can hang up. Let me come down just a little bit. There we go. Or I can display. So this is what we're using. This is a 9x12, just a plain old canvas, but we're not using this side, of course. We're using this side. All right, so what you're going to do to get started, and I already went ahead and did this part ahead of time because we would have been here for a while, but I want to show, I want to explain to you what I did. So on the inside here, because you're going to be able to see it, I went ahead and added some yellow oranges color paint right there. And it doesn't matter what you're getting on this, because we're not going to be messing with this, okay? Because we're going to put paper over it. So that's how you're going to start. You're going to paint the inside, and you have two ways that you can actually do this. If you don't want to mess with pattern paper, and I don't know if you guys can even see that. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's pattern there. If you don't want to use pattern paper, you can paint the whole thing. So it's like whatever, you want to do. I wanted to use some pretty pattern paper, so that's what I did. So what you do is you take a 12x12 piece of pattern paper, and you're going to cut it down. Excuse me. You're going to cut it down to 9x12. Okay. And you want, if you can, a little bit left over on the side. So what you want to do is you want to, lay your paper down first, and then make sure that it's going to cover all of these edges here, right, on the outside. Excuse me. And then, yuck. All right, I'm choking. It's okay. I'm better. All right. So back to the pattern paper. So what you're going to do then is cut it to size. Make it a tad bit bigger if you think you need to, because you can always trim it off if if you have leftover, you can always trim it off. If you cut it too short, then, you can't do anything about it. Then you have to cover it. with an embellishment or something. Because a lot of times these canvases, even though they say they're a certain size, sometimes they vary, like I'm talking like an eighth of an inch or something like that. But when you're laying paper down, that you don't want that. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to lay a full sheet, okay, 9 by 12 that you pre-cut. And you're going to I started on this end, and what I did was I ran my tape runner here, and then I adhered it here. This part is still lifted, okay? I haven't put this down yet. And then I took my tape runner and I ran it down both sides. So that way, what I did then is once this was stuck down, then I had it instead of laying it all down at once and hoping and praying that you get it centered correctly. No, this way there's no issues. Okay, so you start here and then you just lay it down as you go. Okay, and then once you have it laid down, then the next thing you're going to do, make sure that you put adhesive all the way around. And I did not want to use a glue gun for this part because this pattern paper is a little thin and I didn't want bumps with the glue gun, okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to take an X-Acto knife and you're going to cut an X in the middle of your paper.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, sir. Thank you, Siri. Okay, Siri's giving me information this morning. She always talks to me. All right. So, and now I lost my train of thought. Okay, so you've got this covered, right? And now you're ready to decorate it. So cut it here. And then once you have it cut, then take your fingers, because remember, your paper is going to be like this. Okay, so it's going to be a full sheet. So what you can do with that is you can take your fingers and run it just over the paper like this. And then what will happen is you'll get a little crease. So then you can see a little bit better on where, making sure that you can cut it out straight. Okay. So easy to do. You've seen me do it before, I'm sure. So, very easy. All right. So I'm going to put this out of the way for now. Okay. And then we're going to start with the center paper. Okay. Now for this, my pattern paper here is flimsy, right? So I want it to be sturdy. So when I put it inside the frame, it works much better. Okay. So what you're going to do with this is take a tape runner. So this is a heavier cardstock. This is a 110. And we're just going to go down. And then we're going to add this piece on top. Now, this is cut at 9 inches. Excuse me, 9 inches by 6. Okay. So you're going to cut your pattern paper, the same size. Okay. You're just adding the white to the bottom of it, just so it gives you a little bit more sturdiness. Okay. And then for this piece, we're just going to take it down just a smidge smaller, right? Let me move my thingy here. And let me give you, I can't remember. I think it's 8.5. Yeah. Okay. So it's 8.5, probably, 5.5. Okay. So 1/4 inch all the way around. And then we're just going to layer this on top. Okay. Now I'm going to put this down here. There we go. And now you have your centerpiece done, and now it's ready to decorate. Okay, now again, you can do this part 2 ways. You can decorate it now and then put it in, or you can put it in your frame and then decorate it. What I did was I put mine in my frame and decorated it while it was in there. So I'm going to bring my frame back over. And then what we're going to do here, okay, we're going to put this in, and you can see that it's just going to slide in there. I hope. Oh, I see. Okay. I can feel dry paint. There we go. Okay. Yeah, make sure that, you know, if you paint this, make sure that you get yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. Make sure that you get all the guck up or you won't be able to insert your paper. All right, so then we're going to take it. Now that I have all the paint and stuff where it's stuck and it's all off now, and we're going to slide this in. Now, before you lay it completely down, just take a tad bit of your glue runner here, your tape runner. Okay. And then finish laying it down. Okay. Because you want to make sure that it's going to get in there straight. Okay. All right. So now you've got this piece in, and now we're ready to decorate. Okay. So what I did for that, I used this stamp and die set from Sizzix. And it's just, this is the stamp set that I used with the pots and everything. Just very, very cute. And then, of course, the die set that goes with it, which is really coming in handy, you know, when you're cutting those little tiny parts, especially because of my hands. So I'm very grateful that, you know, they're starting to make die cuts for everything. So what I did is my usual. Okay, I took all my stamps and I stamped everything out. White cardstock, okay, with Gina K with the black ink, okay. Let me move this out of the way here for a second. All right, so that is for these pieces that I did here because these were colored. All right, where's the other one? There it is. Okay, so these were colored with watercolors. So what you're going to do is stamp it on your white cardstock and then add your color. I used watercolors because that's my favorite way to color things. So you know, you can use whatever whatever you like best. Okay, so now, and then let me move these out of the way just for a sec. And then these other little pieces that I did, I just used my Gina K ink pads. Okay, so I used, and don't forget, you guys, there's a blog post that will be going up on Sunday. So you'll have all of the names of everything that I used with links and all of that. So don't think I don't got your back. All right. So I used my Gina K inks and I used like 5 or 6 different colors. I was having a blast. So you're going to stamp these images and like these little hearts, you're going to stamp those with your ink pads. Okay. These are not colored, just your ink pads. All right. Okay. Now, what I liked to do when I did mine, let me bring this back. There we go. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to lay everything out first, just so I make sure that I have enough room, you know, with my water pot, you know, my watering can. Am I going to have enough room to add my flowers, you know, on top? You got to think about all that ahead of time. So I like to lay my scene out first and then come back in and glue everything or tape everything down. Now for this, since I've already done my sample, which I need to put up so I can see. There we go. Okay. So this is why I said you can do it one of two ways, either in or out of the frame. For me, it was just easier to do it with it in. Okay, so I've already know where I want mine to go. So now I'm just going to tape everything down. And yes, you guys, I'm using a tape runner. Shocker. This, I'm telling you, it's a good one. All right, so I want my first shelf here to go right about there. Okay. And then I'm going to add my second one down a little bit further. I keep trying to make sure that you guys are that you can see what I'm doing. All right. And then I'm going to add this one right about here. Okay. Now let me see. Normally I would have my head over this so I could make sure that it's totally straight, but I don't want to do that because you guys don't want to see the top of my head. So I just got to eyeball it at an angle. All right. So we're going to leave that there. And then we're just going to add the rest of our goodies. Okay. Now for the watering can, again, I'm going to use the tape runner for this and make sure that I get it all good. But I want to leave this top here. I want to leave that untaped. Okay, so don't tape your top part there. Not right now anyways. Whoops. Okay, because you want to make sure that you're going to be able to get your embellishments that you stamped inside. Okay, so for this piece, I'm going to set that right there for now. Okay. So then I'm going to take my pieces here. And again, here's another way. You can do it one of two ways. You can do it this way and then tuck it in, or you can glue them onto the back and then just tape the whole thing down. However you want to do it. Okay. So for this, I like to add these little flower things here. Okay, so I'm going to put mine down. All right, so like I said, I'm leaving that top part open, so then that way I can tuck my little pieces in there and they'll be able to stick. Okay. Whoops, get in there. Okay, and then I have one more little one here. Okay, and then once you have them in, what you can do, if you want to make sure that they're glued down, then you can come in with your glue gun here and just add to the back of your pieces. Okay, and you just need a tiny little bit to hold them in. Okay, they're pretty much, you know, once they're in with the tape runner, they're pretty much in there. Excuse me, my goodness. All right, so next I'm going to do my big pot here. Now for this one, I stamped up all of these little extra guys here. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and tape it and then tape my elements to my pot. Okay, so for this one, and again, it's because, you know, for me, I've already done this, so I kind of know the placement where I want everything. So That's why, you know, it's easier to, if you're just doing it for the first time, it's easier if you leave that top not taped down and then you can tuck in. But since I already know where my placement's going to be, then I don't have to worry about it. All right, so now we're going to add one of these little guys. And then this. Okay, and then we'll add this little piece here. All right, so now everything's on there and you're ready to adhere it to your frame. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to add some other little pieces. Okay, these cute little seed packets. So we're going to add that right there. There we go. Okay. All right, and then we're going to use these pieces. Okay, so we're going to add this piece. I want to add it right underneath my little can here. And then I'm going to do the same. Whoops, I'm sticking. I'm going to do the same with these cute little pieces. Okay, so we're going to add this one right about there. And then the shovel right on the other side. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to take that piece down right about there. Okay, now the last little piece that we're going to add here now is the flower pot. Now I used little flowers. Well, first let me put my heart on my watering can. Okay, so I want to offset that just a little. Oops, I forgot to tape this other side here. So it does go together, you know, rather quickly once you figure out, you know, your design and how you want to do it. So my little heart here, there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to add this to the middle of my watering can. Because the stamp and the die set that I used with this has all these other little doodads in there that make it fun. Okay, now for the flower pots, what I did here is I took some of my flowers that I have. And aren't these pretty? I just loved these. Now, you can get these anywhere. Doesn't matter. I ordered mine on Amazon. Of course I did. Because I have another pack that is like brighter colors. So I wanted to get one that had little, you know, pastels instead. Okay, so for the flower pot, what we're going to do is we're going to add our flowers inside. All right, so we used a blue, a pink, a green, and what else? Lavender. All right, so let's, and of course it's going to be in the bottom of the pile. Yeah, right about there. Okay, there we go. So for these, you're going to put them together just like this. And then twist. Okay. And then grab my wire cutters. Then we're going to trim off these ends because we don't really need these. Okay. Now, also what I like to do when I'm doing this with flowers, I like to take a little piece of Scotch tape and just kind of tape them around, or tape it around the bottom. Because sometimes when you wrap that wire around and then you start playing with it, it gets undone. So I like to just add just a tad bit of tape right on the ends there, and then that's going to keep my flowers all together. Okay, now let me get this all out of the way here. Okay, so for this piece, now what we're going to do is take the flower pot, okay? And then what I did with this is I just kind of rolled it just a tad. Not a big deal, but just, you know, bend it enough to where you can get your flowers in there, but yet it's still going to stick. Okay, so for this, we're going to go ahead and add our flowers. And then also a cute little sign here. And then we're going to turn this over carefully and add just a tad bit of glue so you can glue it all down. Okay, let me make sure it's where I want it. There we go. Okay. Let me get my flower there. Okay. And then for this one, go ahead, since you have, you know, you've got these added pieces that are dimensional. So go ahead and use the glue gun to adhere this to your frame. All right. Oops, a little cheap bit of glue there. Okay, there we go. So now we've got this part down. And then over here, what I did was I just took some other cute little flowers, this pale yellow, and then of course, oh, not a pink, I used an orange, and then a green. And then for these, what I did for these was I just kind of trimmed off these the ends again with my wire cutters. And then I'm just going to tuck them in, okay? So I'm going to take them at the bottom first again, and then we're going to tuck them right in there. So add just a tad bit of tape. Because once you have them secured together, then you can go ahead and pull on them and, you know, get them get them in the position that you want them in. Okay, you can mess with that, excuse me, after you have it glued in. Okay, so now we're going to take this piece and I'm going to see, nope, I need to cut it a little bit more. Right about there should be good. Okay. And then I'm going to test it first. Yep. Okay, so that's perfect. So now I'm just going to add a tad bit of glue. I'm going to slide that right in there. And then once it's in, then you can go ahead, like I said, and fluff your flowers and do whatever you want to do. Okay. So you've got this piece done. So now we're ready to decorate the whole frame. So let me get all of my flowers here out of the way. Okay. Now, what I did for the frame now, and I'm very upset that I did not charge my glue gun enough, my big glue gun, because I really wanted to show you guys that light. So, and you're going to have to totally demo that one. I don't know. Oh, did you hear me?
Yeah, I'll have to plug it in now though, because I didn't use it for my project.
Yeah, because mine, I didn't charge it enough. Okay, so to finish off the frame here, we've got a wooden fence. These come in rolls. So what you do is you just pick out the size that you want and then cut it with wire cutters, and then you can glue it down. Okay, so for this, I'm going to use a little bit of glue to get myself started. And again, this is a little bit easier for me at this point because I already know what my design is, what it looks like. Okay, so once I have that first end and that's down, then I can flip this back up and then I can just start gluing all of these down. It just makes it a lot easier to work with if you do it this way, because you're doing it just little segments at a time. So that way, if you mess it up, you still have time that you can kind of pull it and, you know, put it on straighter if you put it on crooked. So that's the reason why I like to do that. Anytime I'm using a glue gun or a tape runner, I always want to start on one end and then lift and glue as I go. So we're going to finish with this, gluing this down. And I think I wanted to put my lace on first, but I can't worry about it now. All right, so now I've got the rest of it. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to leave this one end up just a little bit and see if I can get this up without tearing, because I want to add some lace. Okay, so for this, my mom did a lot of sewing. She did a lot of crafting. And when she passed, my mom loved ribbons and trims and, you know, all kinds, and appliques, just all kinds of fun stuff like that. And so when she passed, it all went, it pretty much all came to me as far as, you know, the ribbons and stuff. She's got some really beautiful vintage trim, and it's just, you know. And when I'm using it, then that gives me a chance and I can think about my mom. And that's always a plus. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that end off for just a sec. All right, and then I want to lay this down first and then cut. Okay, so we're going to lay this down first. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to do the same for this side. Make sure I get this straight, which is always an issue for me. I can't, I'm telling you guys, I can't do a straight line with the ruler. It's terrible. My husband makes fun of me all the time about it. All right, so now I've got this piece. So we're going to cut it right at that end there. I hope I didn't cut that too short. Nope, I did not. And then I'm going to lay one more out for the top. And then cut this piece. All right, so now I can get that up out of the way. Okay, now to adhere my lace, again, I did not want to use a glue gun because, you know, sometimes it shows through, you know, the glue shows through when you're using like, you know, a lace or something. So I went ahead and tried this with my tape runner and it worked great. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. Okay, so I just, again, I start at one end. Make sure I get that end secure. And we're right where I want it. Okay, let me make sure I got that on straight. Whoops. There we go. Nope, I want to move it over just a bit. Now, see, if I would have taped all of this down at once, then I would have had to fuss with, if I wanted to move it, then I would have to fuss with, the whole thing being taped down. This way, and I want it over just a little bit more. Let's see, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, so then I might as well do this other side while I'm here. So we're going to tape these pretty lace pieces down. Okay, let me see. Yep, looks good. Okay, so I'm going to secure those. And then what I'm going to do is just take my tape runner and run it all across the rest of this lace. Now, you don't necessarily have to do the whole piece. You can do it in sections as long as you do your top and your bottom and you make sure that those are secure. The rest of it, you don't have to worry about it. Because you really, it's going to be a wall hanging or home decor. So it's not something that you have to absolutely make sure that it's right. All right. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And, and this is a first for me. I have never, ever used a tape runner on lace. Never. So this was a first for me. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this. And it works great. All right. So if you have any excess right here, you can come in and trim it. That's totally up to you. And then we want to do this last piece. Make sure that we're all covered. Yep. Perfect. All right. And same thing. We're going to glue this down. You see how much I'm using this tape runner, and you know that I would have been changing it and throwing it away.
I am impressed.
I know, right? I was too when I started using it. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Yeah. It is a good tape runner. And I didn't mind using it on this lace because it really, really is secure. It is, once you put it down, it's down. You might be able to move it for like a second or so, but if it's really down, nope, not going to happen.
All right. Being the opportune word there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So now we are back to the right way. And now I'm going to finish gluing these down. So we're going to add some glue those babies down. Make sure I get it glued down good. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here and do this one also. Okay, ouch. Ouch. You're not a crafter if you haven't been burned 15 times by glue guns. Oh, and you want to know the other thing that I love about these glue guns? They don't have strings. There's not tons of strings that you got to deal with, which I love.
That would be their glue sticks. That's a special glue they have.
It is just, it's awesome. I'm telling you. All right, so now the last piece of my little lace here. I'm going to,
I love that lace.
isn't this pretty?
That's, yeah.
I have this, and then I have a bigger piece like these. I cut these out, but yeah, I've got some big pieces like this with
Yeah.
the orange flowers, because I'm telling you, my mom had all kinds of, if you love lace and stuff like that, my mom has had all kinds.
She gifted me some when I was in LA.
She did.
Yes. That
She
was
did.
many years ago.
Yep. Well, you know, my mom always loved to share. That was her big thing. She loved sharing. Okay, so now we've got this last piece, and we're going to glue this down. Now for this, I'm going to go ahead and use my glue gun. Ow. I keep burning myself. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Are we good? Yep. Looks okay. This trim is a little bit thicker, so that's why I use the glue gun with it instead of the tape. I'm thinking that the tape would probably work fine because I didn't have any issues with mine, but you
You
know.
lost your picture.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, what happened?
I'm not sure.
Jeez. All
There you-
right.
oh.
There I am. Why am I not in? Uh-oh. All right, let me switch back my project tab. I have no idea what happened. I didn't book my computer, so I have no idea why that happened. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this last piece up.
I'm not sure why that happened either. That's never happened.
I know, right? It was just really kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right, and now I've got this little piece over here hanging over, so I am just going to trim that off. Okay. And now, since I was talking about these, we're going to put these up here in our corners just because they're pretty and I like them so much. And for this, I just added a little bit of glue gun to the center, and I didn't even bother gluing the rest of it down. I liked it just like that. So I'm going to add this one. Make sure I got the right side. These are a little hard to tell, though, if you have the right side or not. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little tougher. Okay. There. Now we've got
Nobody else will know either then. So.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so then the last little pieces, I added some extra little flowers down here. We're going to glue that in right there. And then what I like to do is just add just a tad right at the top part, just so it stays in place. Okay, but you don't want to glue it a whole bunch, just a little bit like that. And we're going to do the same with the other side. Start it there. Okay, and then tuck that in. And then I'm going to add another little bit right here. Whoops. Oh. All right. Backwards. Let's try that again. I didn't realize until I looked at it that it was backwards. Oh, I'm such a mess. All right. So add that last little bit right here. I'm just going to put it right there. That works. Okay. So now the last thing that I did was I took my adorable little cozies that I have here. And then I just wrapped them again. You know, you guys saw me do this a couple weeks ago with the wire. And I just kind of wrapped it around just a smidge like this. And then I went through and I tucked them in just like this. And then, of course, you want to add some glue to secure that. Make sure it's not, that flower's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to add just a tad bit right here. There we go. And then add my flower. And then again, like I said, with the other flowers, get them glued down first. Then you can mess with moving them around and, you know, to your liking. So you're going to finish that off with flowers. And let me get my finished one so you can see once again what I mean. And clean up my mess here a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to have to use my glue gun another time on a live because I really wanted to show that.
I have mine out. I'll show it.
Okay, good. I was so excited about it. Okay. So as you can see with mine, the finished one, okay, there we go, is then I just added the flowers at the very bottom. But there you go. Just a happy, cute little spring frame that you can, like I said, you can add ribbon to the top of it to hang it, or you can put it in an easel and then just set it on, you know, wherever you want. But
It's
I just
lovely.
loved it. It just made me smile when I was doing it. So when I'm smiling and crafting, that's always a good thing.
This is true.
All right. So there it is. Okay, so talk amongst yourselves while I switch cameras.
Okay. I will show everybody the glue gun she meant to be using,
Yes.
which is the Synergy Freedom. It is so cool. It is cordless, and I haven't used this in a few weeks, but you want to make sure to turn it off. But if you turn
Yeah.
it on, the light shows up. And let me grab something here. So there, it shows. the
I
light.
love that.
So you can see exactly where you are going to put some glue. It is the coolest thing, and it's cordless. And I think it lasts about an hour once it's fully charged. It might last longer. I've never timed it, but it lasts for a nice long time. It stands up, so that's super cool.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're working, instead of laying it down and the glue dripping,
yeah,
you can stand it. The glue might drip from here, but that's a farther way to go, and you can catch it.
Yeah.
But when I do my live this afternoon, I'll show you what you can do with those glue drips anyhow. So
yes. Yeah, it just, you know, it's a great glue gun. I'm disappointed that I didn't get to use it. But yeah, last night when I was gluing some stuff, I was like, I just love this light. I can actually see what I'm doing. Because, you know, true crafters, okay, I got to say, the majority of them work at night. Right?
Yeah. Kids are in bed, husbands
sleeping. Exactly. I mean, when my kids were younger, I would work until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because that was the only time I had quiet time. And, you know, so to have a light to see where you're gluing is pretty amazing. I also have a paper cutter that has a light on it also that you can see the paper as you're cutting. So love that one too.
I have started a few comments I just wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Jeannie said that those are the only tape runners she uses and she loves them. Yes.
Yeah, they're fabulous.
Isabel said cordless is good for us in the UK as we need to use a step down adapter with the electrical items from the US. Yes, you do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, you do. So cordless is perfect for you. Gina said, I need that mini glue gun.
It is pretty awesome, Gina. It is pretty awesome.
Kelly said, great advice on planning your layout.
Yes, always. You know, and it might take, you know, a little bit of time, but it's so much better to have it laid out where you can look at it and glue it down instead of gluing it down as you go. And then, you know, if it,
I'm ripping it off. And
exactly. And I am not into, I want whatever is easiest, just slap it on there. So yeah.
Rebecca said, I use ad text tape runners. I like them better than any others I've tried.
I did.
Oh, that's good to know.
That is, I'm telling you, Becca, I love this thing now. I was surprised.
Which is odd because I've known Lisa over 20 years. The girl rarely uses a tape runner.
I don't care for them. I have my paper glue and I love that. And I've used that for 20 years or more.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep. But I'm a convert because this is pretty. I mean, I did that whole project without having to throw it away.
I know. That's pretty cool.
For me, definitely, because that's what always happens. And then I'd have to throw it away and with all the tape on it.
Isabel said, we got lots of ad tech tape runners last year in Bellicon swag bag, and I'm still using mine. We do need very generous sponsors. And
yes.
I'm so excited because we have new sponsors this year. I mean, we have a lot of the same sponsors too, but we have some new sponsors and stuff is coming in. It's just so exciting to open and see. And
it's like Christmas.
It is, even though I'm not keeping it.
No, I know, right?
But, it is. Still. Laura Lee said, what pretty colors for spring. I need to use my stamps and dies to make home decor. It's one of those things I never think of, but I should.
Yeah.
Which is true. I mean, you could have totally done Lisa's frame with little miniatures and other things, but Lisa is a stamper at heart. Yep. I mean, that's where she came up with her business name, Stamping Queen Creations.
Stamping Queen Creations. That's me. Yeah. I mean, and actually, I haven't really used my stamps a lot this past, you know, since the beginning of the year because of my hands and, you know, because it hurts to use them. But I just, you know, this is one of those like, no, I got to do this. It's just too cute. So yeah, definitely do your home decor. Stampers, paper crafters don't think about home decor, and you should because you can do all kinds of very cool things.
You can stamp on so many things.
Oh, yes, you can. Yeah, I've stamped on
lampshades.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And I have, you know, I used to say all the time that, you know, my motto was if it doesn't move, then I can stamp it. So, you know.
Okay. Beatrice said you could watercolor the flowers. Yes, you could. That would be a beautiful touch. And Isabel said it's such a lovely picture. And I was just planting out pansies. Pansies. Oh, I love pansies. Aww. And violas this afternoon to bring some color to my window boxes and plant pots.
Oh,
I love flowers.
You know, I do too, but I not to grow.
Oh, yeah. I love my patio in the summer. It is.
Yeah, I'm not. My mom tried. She tried to, you know, to get me going, but I don't have a green thumb. I don't like it.
You have to want to too.
Yeah.
I have Mark.
Yeah.
My husband is very good with plants.
Well, I will tell you a really quick story about that. My mom, when we bought our first house, my mom said, let's plant some stuff in your front planters. So we did. We spent all weekend putting, you know, flowers and pots. And it looked so beautiful. Grass, the whole thing. And I was getting ready to leave, right? Because I was going someplace for the weekend. And I told Rich, I said, Okay, all you have to do is water these. Just water it. Don't drown them. Just water it, because this is what Mom said. And, I'll deal with it when I get home. When I got home, almost everything was dead. And I said, that's it. I'm done. I was so mad at him.
Well, you live in the high desert, so.
Well, no, this is when we bought our house down the hill.
Oh.
Yeah, being up here, no, I'm not going to be out there in that heat planting anything. And I don't know how anyways.
No, this is true. I mean,
this is my way of gardening.
It has to be a love. It does. I mean, it really does. And Karen, you said your mom passed away 12 years ago today. I am so sorry.
Oh.
My thoughts are with you. It is always hard. Lisa and I both know when you lose a parent. And, my heart just goes out to you. It's a lot.
I have another quick story to share about gardening.
Okay.
My mom helped Rochelle when Rochelle got into her house with some planters in her front. And of course, she didn't take care of them, and so they all died. But there's one plant. It's a tulip right by her front door. Every year on the day that my mom passed, that thing blooms. That's the only time.
Well, they only bloom once a year, but yes, they come back every year. It's nice it happens then.
Because Rochelle's like, Gran's talking to us. I'm like, and she has a picture of Zoe when my mom passed. She has a picture of Zoe playing, with the tulip or the flower. I don't even remember what it was, but
tulips come back every year. So yeah, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, it was just cool because my mom planted them, and that was the only one apparently that survived.
She had that special touch.
Yes, she did.
Rebecca said she has 2 black thumbs herself. The hubby has all the green thumbs. See, they're keepers, right, Rebecca? I mean,
not me. Rich and I, I was looking at a Lakeside catalog. It has all kinds of, fun stuff. And there were some solar, because we were talking about Rich wants to redo the backyard. And we were talking about that. And they have a whole bunch of like solar flowers and stuff like that. And I showed him, I go, look, this is my kind of gardening. You just pound it in and you let it go and you're done. So yes, black.
There is somebody, you all know I live in a tiny, tiny, tiny town. There is somebody that actually every spring they put out silk flowers. I mean, because, when I first saw them many years ago, it's like, how can those flowers be blooming already? Well, they put out fake flowers. Yeah. They look beautiful from a distance. Nobody would know if they didn't put them out so early where, they wouldn't be out yet. But there is that option.
Yep. That's my way of gardening. It's like cooking. No.
Girl doesn't cook either.
No, you don't want me around food or anything with dirt.
Isabel says, I can grow some things and I find working in the garden really healing.
Yes.
I always what my mom used to say. It's true.
And you said it too.
It is good.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I hope you guys liked it. It was really fun putting it together. I was working late. Ann and I were messaging like at 1 a.m. my time. So it was like 3 her time. I'm like, oh boy.
It is what it is.
Yep. I hear you. All right, you guys. So that is it for me. Anna's going to be back me too, but she's going to be showing you how to use the glue gun, doing something cool. And we'll see you then. It's going to be, in little less than an hour.
Yep. Okay. Be back here at 2:00 and we will announce last week's winner.
Yep.
And
which is your ebook, correct?
My faux quilting ebook.
Okay.
Yes. It's new. It's not even on our site. It was something I did for a giveaway for an event I was part of. It was a VIP, and I just haven't put it on the site yet because I'm waiting to list all the stamps.
Right. Yeah, right. All
Um,
right, you guys. So, like we always say, take a little time to craft.
it's good for your soul.
It
And
is.
we will see you back here in less